Hello and welcome! Tonight we're diving into the era of Trump's tariffs. Tariffs in theory are like putting a cover charge on foreign goods to make domestic ones look more appealing. Simple, right? Well, it's about as simple as assembling IKEA furniture in the dark. Major US companies started looking for the emergency exit. These weren't minor tweaks. We're talking significant shifts, production moving overseas. The promise was an American manufacturing renaissance. Instead, we got unintended consequences, leaving many American workers wondering what went wrong. It's like trying to fix a leaky faucet with a sledgehammer. You might stop the leak, but you've also destroyed your bathroom. The impact on the US economy and job market became a subject of fierce debate. So, let's unpack this, shall we? Let's look at who left, why they left, and what it all means. First up, let's talk about Harley-Davidson. The purveyor of chrome-plated Freedom machines announced it would be moving some production for non-US markets overseas. The culprit? Retaliatory tariffs. When the US slapped tariffs on steel and aluminum, the European Union responded in kind. Shipping a Harley to Europe became significantly more expensive. Harley's decision was logical. To avoid EU tariffs and remain competitive, they needed to assemble bikes for Europe outside the US. This led to increased production in places like Thailand. The irony was thicker than a diner milkshake. A policy designed to protect American industry was causing an American icon to shift operations abroad. The then president was displeased, calling for boycotts and accusing Harley of waving the white flag. The economic fallout was significant. Future growth in the European market wouldn't translate as directly into US jobs. It highlighted the vulnerability of even the most American companies to international trade spats. Ultimately, the Harley-Davidson saga showed that tariffs have real-world consequences. Next is General Motors, or GM, a titan of the American automotive landscape. The Trump administration's tariffs on steel and aluminum hit automakers like GM hard. GM stated that these metal tariffs were costing them around $1 billion. Then came the plant closures. In late 2018, GM announced plans to unallocate several plants in North America. Increased costs due to tariffs were a contributing factor. The political reaction was swift and furious. The president publicly excoriated the company for these closures. The economic consequences were severe, particularly for the communities directly affected. Thousands of jobs were lost, not just at GM plants, but also at suppliers and local businesses. The GM situation underscored the complexity of modern automotive supply chains. Tariffs throw a giant wrench into these finely tuned machines, causing disruptions and increasing costs. Let's talk about Caterpillar Inc. Caterpillar, a global behemoth, found itself squarely in the path of the tariff train. Steel and aluminum are the lifeblood of their products. When tariffs jacked up metal prices, Caterpillar felt it hard. The company estimated tariffs would cost them hundreds of millions. They faced retaliatory tariffs from other countries, notably China. It was a double whammy, more expensive to build and sell. Caterpillar had to make tough choices. They talked about mitigating costs through price increases and supply chain adjustments. Price increases mean their customers pay more, which can dampen demand. Supply chain adjustments often mean shifting activities to less tariff-burdened locations. The broader economic implications are significant. When a company like Caterpillar faces such headwinds, it can signal a slowdown. It's a stark lesson that in an interconnected world, economic policies rarely stay within one nation's borders. Our next case study is Ford Motor Company. Ford faced the sting of increased steel and aluminum costs, denting their profits by $1 billion. But the story with Ford wasn't about a factory closing, but about a specific car model being exited from the US market. The Ford Focus Active, a small crossover wagon, was planned to be imported from China. Enter the tariffs on Chinese imports. Bringing the Focus Active into the US became significantly more expensive. Ford canceled plans to sell the Focus Active in the United States. A car that American consumers might have wanted simply wouldn't make it to showrooms. The consequence for American consumers? Less choice. The consequence for Ford? A potential hole in their product lineup. The tariffs fundamentally altered the calculus for future business decisions. Ultimately, the Ford Focus Active story shows how protectionist trade policies can limit options for domestic consumers. Our final company is Whirlpool Corporation. Whirlpool's story is a fantastic example of how the tariff game can be incredibly complex. Whirlpool had been a proponent of certain tariffs. They argued that foreign competitors were dumping washing machines into the US market at unfairly low prices. In early 2018, the Trump administration imposed safeguard tariffs on imported washing machines. Initially, this looked like a win for Whirlpool, but then came the tariffs on imported steel and aluminum. Whirlpool uses a large amount of metal to make their washing machines and dryers. While benefiting from tariffs on foreign washing machines, they were hit by increased costs for raw materials. The very policies designed to help one part of their business were hurting another. The company acknowledged this, noting that the steel and aluminum tariffs were driving up their manufacturing costs. The overall message from Whirlpool's experience is a masterclass in the chaotic nature of broad-stroke tariff policies. It highlights the intricate web of inputs and outputs in the economy. It's a potent reminder that in trade wars there's often a lot of friendly fire. So there you have it, a whirlwind tour through the balance sheets and boardrooms of 5 major US companies. These policies, often sold with simplistic slogans, had complex and frequently detrimental impacts. The long-term consequences of these exits, shifts, and strategic rethinks are still being tallied. We're talking about potential erosion of US manufacturing competitiveness. Jobs that were promised to return may not materialize. It's like throwing a party and then changing the music, the dress code, and the location every 5 minutes. Ultimately, the lesson here isn't just about tariffs. It's about the need to stay informed and engaged with economic policies. It's vital to look beyond the sound bites and understand the mechanics of these decisions. The economy is not a spectator sport. Its rules affect us all. Thanks for watching.